From SF Land, this is Dorking Out, a podcast for people who love to dork out about movies, TV, and everything pop culture.
Welcome to Dorking Out. My name is totally Sonia Mansfield, Grody. Joining me is my podcasting sister from another mister and the co-host of Dorking Out, Margo D. Hello, my friend.
Oh my God, you're totally tubular.
You are so radical. You are bodacious.
Oh, thank you.
We are dorking out about 1983's Valley Girl. Yay! It's been on our list forever, and it's finally available for rent. And we just had to do it right away. Somebody tagged us. I think Angela tagged us on Twitter and was like, "This might be news you can use." And I was like, "Ding ding! You're moving to the top of the list, Valley Girl." It is directed by Martha Coolidge, who also did Real Genius, which is also on our list. And it stars Nicolas Cage, a very young Nicolas Cage, and Deborah Foreman. And it's kind of like a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, but with a better soundtrack and a happier ending. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah, she's from the Valley, and she loves to shop and be at the mall with her friends. And he is a punk rocker, and he lives in Hollywood. And so they're from two different worlds, but they meet at a party, and they immediately fall in love, and it's a very romantic scene. But her friends don't approve of him, but her hippie parents say, "Hey, we like him, but you know what? You got to do you. You got to make your own decisions." And in the end, spoiler, they stay together. So,
I had not seen this movie in a really long time. I got very excited to rewatch it, and I still really, really love it. And I kind of kick myself for renting it and not buying it, but I think I'm going to buy it anyway. I think that there are a ton of movies like this about the kind of opposites attract, but I really think this one's better than most of them.
It's better than the teen comedies that came out at the time.
Oh my God. I have a list of the teen comedies for us at the end so everyone can see how much this movie stands out.
It's so witty and charming.
Yeah. And you really feel like they like each other.
Oh, they have so much chemistry between them. But, okay, Deborah Foreman, how adorable is she?
Everybody drink. I also wrote that down. She is so adorable. I love her.
I screamed out a couple of times, "Oh my God, she's so pretty." I think she's so, so cute. And when I first saw this movie, it's she in my head was the version of a teenager I wanted to be someday.
Yeah.
The way she dressed at that party, that blouse with oh God, she looks so cute. Everything. I just thought she was adorable.
So cute. And one of the things I like about her and her character is she could have been a real airhead. You know, she's a Valley Girl, so she does do the "Oh my God," for sure. "Oh, my job is so uncool." It's so, she is like that, but she's not. She's actually really sweet. She seems pretty smart. She's a good person. I like that about her, and I like that he's a punk rocker, but he's not a bad boy. He's quite sensitive, and he's really sweet to her.
They just kiss the first week. I guess they're only dating for a week, or it's just for a couple of weeks that their relationship is. But she dumps her boyfriend, who's just such. If you ever want just the standard '80s boyfriend looking person, especially early mid '80s, the hair.
They couldn't get William Zapka for the part, so they found the next best thing.
Yeah, not as handsome. With very, very tight pants and a lot of striped shirts. And there's a couple of women in there, the girls. Is it Stacy? No. Who am I thinking of? Michelle Mayrink is in this movie.
Yeah, she plays Susie.
Yeah, Susie's stepmother. At first, I was like, that woman's only 5 years older than her. What is going on here? But she's in her mid-30s. But yeah, she flirts with her daughter's friends.
Yes.
Potential love interest, and that kid looks like, I'm like, what is the attraction here? Because he looks like a kid.
I know. It's so weird. There's a couple of things in the movie that are clearly influenced by the sex comedy, the
Yeah.
teenage sex comedies. There's like the side story about like the mom that's trying to like seduce her daughter's suitor. Like that's
Mhm.
happening. What's the other one? There's like another rando storyline that's
Well, there's a couple also because because she was told that it's a lot of the movie studio has the male gaze. I mean, they show breasts sometimes
Yeah,
like for just no reason, like a lot.
a lot of
No one owns a
unnecessary
bra in the valley. It's immediately
a lot of unnecessary tea in this movie.
lots of tea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for you young boys out there, there's something to look forward to.
Mhm.
But there's that whole thing with her boyfriend hooking up with her friend Julie,
Yeah.
but that never really goes anywhere. It's just a thing that
Yeah.
we don't like Tommy at all, nor should we. He's a jerk.
Right. They established that right off the bat. The friend is played by Elizabeth Daly, who, of course, everyone probably knows as Pee Wee Herman's
Yes,
lady
Lauren.
friend. She plays Dottie in Pee Wee's Big Adventure. I'm a rebel, Dottie. You don't want to get mixed up with a guy like me. And she's really great in this movie. I actually really like her. And at the end, when they're at the prom, I'm like, she has the most amazing like rocker 80s hair.
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
There's a scene with she's in a bathing suit and she's
Mhm.
got this tiny little bod and a tiny little suit. She's just perfect 80s, big mane of hair,
Mhm.
and she does the accent really well.
She does. I really liked her. Every time she showed up, I was like, Dottie. I didn't want to see Dottie's boobs, but that's okay. Like, it's the time.
It's the time.
So I want to talk more about Nicolas Cage and Deborah Foreman. I love how much fun their characters have together. They look like they're really having a good time.
Do you think they're in love in real life? They were dating in real life?
They must be, right? I kind of assume they were. They look like they were in love to me.
Yeah. Their makeout scenes, there's a lot of heat there.
Yeah, I felt like sometimes you watch a movie. There's a couple of movies, and we've talked about them before on the show, where I feel like those people are in love, and I won't hear anything different. Like when we watched, apparently
A Star is Born.
Like A Star is Born. I don't care who else Lady Gaga and Bradley Cooper are with. I'm like, they're in love. I thought Drew Barrymore and Adam Sandler and The Wedding Singer were in love. I think apparently I think Sandra Bullock's in love with everyone because I'm like Sandra Bullock and Keanu Reeves were in love in Speed. Sandra Bullock and Bill Pullman are in love and While You Were Sleeping. Like, and I think that about Nicolas Cage and Deborah Foreman. I'm like they're in love.
They just look so great together. And it's such a really cool slice of LA in the mid 80s, just what it looked like, the Sunset Strip. And the only thing is that they couldn't get rights to real punk rock music. So it's more like new wave, 80s, LA new wave is what we get. A Million Miles Away, we hear that song like 3 times.
Yeah. I like that song. But yeah, you hear it
I know,
lot.
It's a great song.
You hear that song and Stop the World and Melt With You a lot.
Which is a great song.
It's a really great soundtrack. This is a good segue to talk about that soundtrack. I mean, every one of these songs, you're like bopping your head, moving in your seat. A Million Miles Away, Johnny, Are You Queer? That song maybe doesn't really stand the test of time.
Well, yes. Especially with the backup singers kind of mincing their hands
Yeah,
like Mr. Roper would do in Three's Company.
I'm like, but the music of it's really catchy. If you could get
past, great.
If you could get past the gay slur, it's totally fine. What was the other? Oh, there's Men at Work. Who Can It Be Now?
Yes.
He Could Be the One by Josie Cotton. I really like the band they have playing at the prom. I actually think she's really great. I don't like Johnny, Are You Queer so much, but I like her.
She's great.
Yeah. Love My Way by the Psychedelic Furs. That's a great song.
Oh my God, that is a great song.
Yeah,
there's a dance. I love also like 80s dancing movies, like kids at parties dancing. And it's like, they tell you that they never have music on, they just kind of make people fake it and they add it in post. This is one of those cases where like, oh, I can totally see that because nobody's to the beat of anything matching each other. They're all over the place.
But
it's still,
could be accurate. I mean, these people, they all look like people that don't have rhythm. So maybe it wouldn't have mattered if music was playing. So some people don't know, younger people apparently don't know what a Valley Girl is.
Yeah, so I think it was in 82, Frank Zappa's daughter, Moon Unit Zappa, that is her name.
That's her name.
I follow her on Twitter. She's awesome. She wrote a song, and she wrote something to her dad. Her dad was a very famous musician, and she wrote it to her dad, Valley Girl. And he had kind of an eccentric voice, and he totally kind of got it. Totally.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just this style of speaking that was kind of, I don't know, like
oh my God.
oh God. Like, that's how people used to talk. And it's become the Kardashians, where it's much more like a nasal thing.
Mm-hmm.
But back then it was more like this. It was very sing-songy.
Oh my God, the Kardashians are so grody. Barf me out. Gag me.
Oh my God.
That is grody to the max. Gag me with a spoon. Like that sort of thing. I mentioned at work that Valley Girl was streaming, and I was really excited. And there's a bunch of people in the office who are like in their 20s, and they were like, "What's a Valley Girl?" And I was like, "I'm old." I'm the old woman in the office now because I know what a Valley. And then when I describe it, they're kind of like, "Oh, like it's just like the equivalent of like kind of the popular girl in movies now." Like with the way they talk, a certain kind of slang, they have a special kind of language. But a Valley Girl was a thing, and the clothes in this movie are super. They're 80s. I feel like they're 80s extreme.
I think they're on point.
You think so?
For the Valley, yeah. For those girls, you saw how much money they were spending at the mall. Like,
that's true.
A couple of times, like $200. I'm like, that's like $600 today. Like, they were spending the money. I mean, they look like they come out of 17 magazine.
Yeah.
Like, some of those outfits, I remember I just wanted to dress like these girls. I wanted to look like them.
I totally did too.
I wanted to go to those parties.
All the guys are wearing like collared shirts and like the popped collars, and then like the women will be wearing like kind of like pants and a shirt that are maybe exactly matched, or maybe even like a jumpsuit kind of thing. And then like,
oh my God.
So it'd be like a turquoise jumpsuit with like a bright red belt, and then you have red shoes that match the belt. That sort of like the clothes are chef's kiss.
It's an awesome look. It was an extension of the preppy look, which got really popular in the early 80s. This sort of was like the new wave kind of sheen on all that, and that's what they did. But a lot of the popped collars, they look so proper.
Yeah.
But they all look so young.
They do look so young. At the beginning of the movie, they show the girls shopping in the mall, and Lauren, the one who's played by Dottie from Pee-wee's Big Adventure, is looking at these like saddle shoes that are like,
I thought of you.
Yeah, I actually own those shoes. I have those shoes.
Yeah.
I was like, holy shit, those are an 80s thing? I'm like, I just bought them because I like them and I think they're comfortable, and I wear them with skirts all the time. And I was like, little did I know that I have those exact shoes.
I thought of you as soon as I saw it.
Aw. That makes me feel special. My toddler grandma style. You know it anywhere. Oh, also, all the guys are wearing like loafers with no socks.
Oh, that's right. That was a thing.
A lot of
So
that.
what did you think? So what did you think of Nicolas Cage and his friend, Fred? Fred who had the magenta stripe on his head? Yeah.
I think Nicolas Cage is really, really hot in this movie.
Yes.
I'm not like, I know objectively that Nicolas Cage is attractive, and like throughout his career, there's like different levels of like people who have a hotness, or like people like who think he's hot in like Con Air. I don't think so because of the mullet, but other people do. Or people who think he's really hot in Moonstruck or something. I think he's so hot in this movie. He's the hottest guy at that party, for sure.
For sure, yeah. By
my
far.
God, he's like totally the hottest guy ever at the party. He's so good in this movie. And his friend is such a kook. First of all, he doesn't look, his friend, does not look like he's in high school.
No.
He
No.
looks like a man in his late 20s pretending to hang out, like pretending to be a teenager. Like, hello, fellow kids. Like, that's what he looks like to me. That's fine. That's a reoccurring thing in movies with teenagers. That's totally fine. And there's also this kind of weird thing where Nicolas Cage convinces Deborah Foreman to leave the party, and she convinces her friend to come with her. And her friend is like the worst wing woman ever. She like bitches and whines the whole time.
She complains about everything, and I'm like,
I hate this song. It's too loud in here. The whole time. I'm like, bitch, fucking suck it up for a little while for your friend. Be a good wing woman.
but you're in a car, you're going down the Sunset Strip on a Saturday night, it's late, like all the lights and all the action. Like my 18-year-old brain would be so excited to do that.
Yeah.
I can't understand why she's being such a complaining, whiny little asshole.
I don't know. So later in the evening, Deborah Foreman and Nicolas Cage are like making out in the car, and her friend is like running around the car, and the Nicolas Cage's friend is like chasing her. And I'm like, what is happening in this movie? Like, but it's like playful chasing. She's not like really running away. But she kind of is.
She thinks he's cute, but she also thinks he's weird.
Yeah.
And I think she's also just exhausted. Like, she just wants to go home. I've been in that position. I'm like, okay, can we just wrap this up, please? But yeah, so it turns out that Julie's parents are hippies.
They are so funny.
Oh, I love them.
Yeah.
It's Colleen Camp and Frederick Forrest. And Colleen Camp was only like 10 years older than her.
I know. I was like, she's too young to be her mother, but okay.
But she's good. She's very funny. They're very cute, but they're hippies, and they have the health food store, and that's how they support themselves. I guess it does really well. They have a nice house and everything, and Deborah shops. I mean, Julie shops all the time. But their whole thing, there's a great scene where Julie tells her dad, I'm having a real problem. My friends are pressuring me to break up with this guy, to go out with this guy. And her dad shows her pictures of himself as a hippie. And says, just because somebody dresses funny doesn't mean you can judge their character and all the right things. And then when she says, what should I do? He goes, well, you got to do what you got to do. He doesn't tell her what to do. He leaves the decision to her. She makes the wrong choice at first, but I like the fact that he let her make the decision for herself.
Her parents are I really like them a lot. And I feel like it was one of the first times I saw a movie with teenagers where the parents were like from the 60s and not the 50s.
And not total assholes.
Yeah. It wasn't like, no, you can't go out.
Assholes.
Yeah. You can't go out with any boys and you're going to obey my rules. Or like, I just feel like parents were always more stiff than that in these teen movies. A little bit more like, you need to go to business school and be a businessman. That like kind of 50s more straight. And these people are more hippies, like, you do you, man, and like, be careful, just be careful and don't hurt other people or yourself, and that sort of thing. I don't recall seeing that a lot before this movie.
No, it didn't exist.
Yeah, it's one of the things I really like about it.
Yeah, I really like them. I think they're very sweet, and they have boundaries, but they really give her a lot of space. And I just love this movie so much. I love the prom where the teacher is reading the story. She has her own high school issues.
Yeah.
She clearly hasn't worked through.
There's weird, like, random things like that throughout the movie. Like that scene where she's like, describing what she thinks a king and queen are and how she wanted to be queen, but she didn't get to be. And it's kind of going on in the background while like a fight's going on, but it's still really funny. Or the scene where they're taking driver's ed and Stacy's Julie's driving the car, and it's basically spinning around in a circle, and she's going to kill them all. And the driver's ed teacher is the guy who played Les Nessman in WKRP.
Yes. Richard Sanders.
Yes, and it's just like, it's dialogue. It's all about like how much she really likes Randy and how they don't like Randy, basically, because he's different. But in the background, she's putting all their lives in danger. She's like doing really it's just these little random things that are so funny, like the stuff at her parents' like health food restaurant where she works, and there's the guy who's just trying to like order a sandwich and, you know, gets involved in their conversation. It's like, maybe I should talk to her. Like all this stuff. It's just funny little things that make the movie feel special, I guess.
Yeah, well, so she breaks up with him, and it totally breaks his heart, and you really feel, it's so sad to watch. And then he tries to win her back, and one of the ways he does that, he just shows up at all these places randomly.
So weird.
Well, Peter Piper picked a pepper. Like he's like, what? But it's cute. It's very cute.
It's such a that stuff is weird too, because then it's like he's working at the movie theater where she goes,
right?
And then he's like working at the restaurant where she goes, and you know, then he's like sleeping on her lawn in a sleeping bag. I'm like, what is this movie doing? But it's funny and weird, and we do get the scene where they break up is really, really sad.
It's incredibly sad, and you really feel for him.
Yeah, because I mean, maybe I assume everyone's been in a situation where you're kind of blindsided. Like you think things are going really great, and you're so happy, and then it's over, and you're like, what? Like just like it's like such a shitty way. It's such a shitty thing to happen. It's like a punch in the gut.
Yeah.
And I felt so bad for him, and I thought the scene after that is so sad, and we get like drunk raging Cage, basically, where he's just, you know, making
at the Viper room.
Yeah, making like bad choices. Like he's like,
well,
yeah, go ahead.
He's hooking up with his old girlfriend, who turns out she's the one that's on the poster. I always
so
wondered.
Weird.
It's so weird to me that if you look at the poster for this movie, it's not Deborah Foreman standing next to Nicolas Cage. It's the girl that he hooks up with, his ex-girlfriend that he hooks up with.
Yeah.
So I always was like, why did that happen? And Deborah Foreman doesn't know why, but she apparently was very upset too. Because, she should be on that poster.
Yeah. I would be upset. I'd be like, I fucking star in this movie. Fuck that. I would cut that bitch. No, I'm kidding. It's not her fault. I'm totally kidding. I also want to talk about, there's a scene where they're at Julie goes to a slumber party at her friend's house, and it's all like what dudes think slumber parties are, by the way.
Yeah. I know.
It's all t-shirts and underwear and like lip syncing and eating Oreos, and I'm like, that didn't happen any in my slumber parties, but maybe I wasn't invited to the right parties.
It didn't happen at any of my slumber parties either, but it was written by two men. It was directed by a woman, but she's, like I said, in one of her notes was, we need to see breasts 4 times. No less than 4 times. I want her to get an audience, so I'm sure a little TNA had to be included everywhere.
Yeah. So her friends are the ones that say, like, you have to choose. You have to choose between super hot Randy and our lame asses, basically.
Tommy.
And we want you to go out with Tommy, and Tommy's such a fucking dud.
He's a nothing burger. He has nothing. It's like there's no other cute guys at that school because she's the cutest girl.
Yeah, she could have her pick.
Yeah. Well, there's that one guy at the party who I'm sorry, he's gay. He had because he was immediately like turned off by her. I'm like, okay.
And then Johnny,
that's not your team.
Are you queer boy?
Exactly. Well, he wore a very sparkly outfit. Did you see? There's a lot of colors going on there, competing with each other. Yeah.
He's probably into drama, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Yeah. So they break up. It's super sad. He tries to win her back with like all this really outlandish stuff. And then his friend, Fred, convinces him to like crash the prom because he has a really big plan. So they crash the prom, and his plan was only to crash the prom.
That was it. That's all he came up with.
He didn't have anything going on. What do you think of Julie's prom dress?
Oh, I think it's great.
It's quite 80s, but she's such a knockout, as Chris Matthews would say. She's beautiful.
She's so beautiful, but all the guys are wearing pink tuxes. That was like, I would laugh my ass off if somebody showed up looking like that.
They look like the tuxes that Jim Carrey and Jeff Daniels wear in Dumb and Dumber. Like literally
But
one of them's
unironically, they're wearing them.
They're wearing, and like one of them has a top hat even, I'm like, oh my gosh. But it was a thing. That it was a thing. People did that. So, and that's when we get to see Dottie's beautiful, amazing 80s rocker hair and a pretty sexy dress for a high school prom. Actually, it like
junior prom. I was like, junior?
Yeah, it's kind of like laced up in the front, but she's got it undone a little bit. I was like, damn, Dottie. Damn,
Dottie's putting her out. I thought they were all seniors too. I mean, I was surprised when it's the junior prom. I'm like, because I was like, what does she care? You're a senior. Date whoever you want.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. And the movie is dealing with some of the things that teenagers had to deal with, peer pressure mainly, which is another thing I think that makes it a little bit more special than some of its counterparts. And I love when Nicolas Cage beats up Tommy, because
of course
you want Tommy to get an ass kicking so bad. You just can't wait for it to happen. And there's also this like gross thing where like Tommy's like he's secretly booked them a room at a hotel because like he thinks they're gonna sleep together, and she's clearly repulsed by him. And like every time he leans in for a kiss, she's like, ew. And so Nicolas Cage and Tommy fight, and they run away together. And they get in the limo, and then the limo driver's like, shall I take you to the Sheraton Hotel? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, they're going to do it.
But they've been wanting to, and they've been dating, and they clearly are crazy about each other, and they'll be responsible about it. So I'm on board with this.
Yeah, I just thought it was such a funny ending, because it's like, and then it pans back, and it's like, there's in their limo, stuck in traffic going to the hotel, and I'm like, they're gonna do it, that's the end. And then it's like, I'll stop the world and melt with you. It's like such a funny ending to me. I don't know, I feel like a lesser movie would have followed them all the way to the hotel, and then we get to watch them do it.
Yeah.
I like it. Do you think Julie and Randy are still together?
I do
too.
I think they have really cute babies, and they're really fun grandparents now.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
They practice social distancing. They're very well informed.
I totally do. There's so much between that. There's so much chemistry here. It's really fun to watch.
Mm-hmm. I agree. This was such a fun rewatch. I had such a good time rewatching it.
I did too, and it just brought back so many memories, and just good and bad of just high school and all that stuff. But the fashions are great. The music is great. It's just, and the adults like get to be people, which is nice. That doesn't always happen in movies. And I have nothing against this movie. I just love it, love it, love it.
Yeah, I had nothing but love for it, and the soundtrack is just. It's so good. It's so 80s. It's so good. I'm so glad it's streaming again so that people can watch it.
Yeah, me too.
You guys won't be sorry. I know that we said we were going to do this episode, and we put it out like, hey, we are going to do this episode. And some of our listeners immediately went and rented it and watched it. And they're all commenting about how pleasantly surprised they are and what a special movie. And I was like, I agree. It is.
Yes.
We're usually right. Thanks for listening. No, I'm kidding. Do you have anything else you want to say about Valley Girl?
Just that Deborah Foreman's adorable. They're all adorable. I love the clothes. They get it totally right. And it was such a fun rewatch. I'm so glad we did this one.
Me too. And it is like kind of like a perfect 80s teen comedy, I think.
Yeah.
It is I'm going to read some other 1983 movies that were for teenagers, and I put in parentheses, in theory. And you'll see that like this one is just heads and shoulders like above the rest. There's a couple in here that are good, but some are. So there were. Do you want to hear some of them?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, so 4 movies with Tom Cruise came out in 83.
Holy shit.
I know. I'm like, what? Okay, so The Outsiders came out.
Yep.
And that's a good movie. But it's not a teen comedy, so I wouldn't like compare these. But Risky Business came out. Losing It.
Yes.
Which you could totally compare to Valley Girl, and it does not even compare. It's not even close. And then also All the Right Moves.
That was actually a good movie. Losing It is, I think they go to Mexico to pick up sex workers.
Yes.
And I think Shelley Long.
Yeah.
And I think Shelley Long is in there as well.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I think that's her.
Such a weird movie.
Tom Cruise and comedy don't always go together.
Mm-hmm.
He's kind of an intense guy. I remember All the Right Moves because it had Leah
Thompson.
Oh God, and Craig T. Nelson as her dad. Yeah.
Leah Thompson is so cute.
She's adorable.
Yeah, everybody drink. Yeah, and then so here's some of the teen comedies that came out. Private School.
Oh, Phoebe Cates.
Yes. My Tutor.
Oh, I don't remember who's in that.
I don't remember who's in it, but I know the premise. It's like she's hired to like teach him, and then she teaches him about sex.
God.
Then Class.
With Andrew McCarthy, Rob Lowe, and Jacqueline Bisset.
Yes.
Jacqueline Bisset seduces her son's friend, once again, a child.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the premise of the movie.
Yeah. Porky's 3.
There were a bunch of Porkies in the 80s.
They
were all the same.
When people talk about the trilogy, I always assume they mean Porky's. And then these aren't teen comedies, but they were movies with teenagers. Rumblefish came out in 83, which I don't know if I've ever seen, or if I did see it was just the one time.
It's okay.
Yeah. And then
from what I remember,
Christine came out in 83.
Awesome movie.
Christine is awesome. I rewatched that one like last year. It was playing at a theater here, and that one was really, really fun. And then War Games.
I love War Games.
War Games is rad.
That's a rad movie. We should talk about that sometime.
Yeah. I love War Games. I had like everyone my age, I had a big crush on Matthew Broderick back in the day.
Even before Ferris Bueller.
Oh yeah, before Ferris Bueller. It was things like War Games where I was like, he's so cute. I mean, he's still cute, but
he is. Do you want to hear about the top songs?
Of course I do.
Okay, so I just picked a handful here. 1983, it was The Eurythmics, Sweet Dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Good song.
Such a good song.
Bonnie Tyler, Total Eclipse of the Heart.
I love that song.
Oh, God.
I still love that song.
Styx, Mr. Roboto. Remember that?
Yeah.
They tried to do a rock opera.
Mm-hmm.
Irene Cara, Flashdance, What a Feeling.
Yeah.
Lionel Richie, All Night Long.
I still love that song.
Could not avoid that song.
I still love that song.
Yeah. David Bowie, China Girl.
That was a good song. That video, you couldn't get away from the video back in the day. David Bowie was a trip, obviously.
Big Country, In a Big Country. I still love that song, like ridiculously.
That was my husband's first concert he ever went to.
Oh,
was Big Country.
So cute.
And sometimes I try to find, like, I want to get a Big Country, like, concert t-shirt because I think it would be really funny to give it to him. But I can never, obviously those things are hard to come by.
Yeah. And then the top song of 1983, as far as I'm concerned, Def Leppard, Photograph.
Shit, yes.
Fucking A.
That song rocks so hard. That song is on many, many playlists of mine. That whole album.
Pyromania.
Yeah, I had it on like cassette. I listened to it all the time. I saw Def Leppard in concert like last year.
And you said they were great.
And they were great. They were super great. The set was really tight. Like, they clearly were having a good time being there. It wasn't like they weren't just phoning it in. They were there to rock. And they had like the lasers going like they did, and it was super fun. They were rad. I'm glad you picked that song. Now I'm going to listen to it right after this.
Yeah.
What else are you dorking out about?
Well, I need my escapism with everything that's going on right now.
Yeah.
So the people at Bravo gifted me with a whole new season of Real Housewives of Beverly Hills.
Oh, nice.
And it just started so amazing. One of them had a fashion show for New York Fashion Week, and it was the ugliest fashions ever. And they brought in a new woman, and I was listening to Watch What Crappens, another podcast, and they got it right perfectly. If you watch the show, her name is Sutton, and she's super wealthy, and she has more money than the rest of the women put together, but she buys the tackiest clothes. And you think like she buys couture, and I get the feeling like they sell her the ugliest shit and at the highest price. But she reminds me of like Patsy or Adina. Which one was it that was the PR person? In AbFab?
Patsy, I think.
Patsy's like, La Croix, baby. Like, there's a woman who acts like her, and it brings the zaniness. And it was so much fun. It's incredibly dumb. It'll probably wear itself out in a few weeks, but I just had such a great time with it. And I watched it like 3 times. It completely cheered me up.
I am saving my episodes of Real Housewives of New York for when my treadmill arrives.
Oh yeah. It's great for treadmill walking. It's a good season too.
Yeah. And then we'll definitely bring that up at some point on the show because I'll want to talk about it really bad.
Yeah.
I'm sure. So like everybody on the internet, I've been listening to the new Fiona Apple album.
I knew you would mention that.
Yeah. It's fucking dope. It's rad. Like everyone I know was like, holy shit, this album's awesome. It's exactly what I needed right now. And I was like, well, I can't wait to listen. And then I listened and I'm like, yes, everybody's right. It's great. It's super. I've always loved Fiona Apple. I know you do too. Like,
oh yeah,
her first album in particular, Title, was so good. And like, there's something about like her music, her voice, her style. Like I always like I connect with it. Like I enjoy it. And I was listening again to her album this morning, and it's really great. So if you guys are listening for some new music, I don't recommend music very often because I'm not like the kind of person that's like, I'm not hip and cool when it comes to music. I'm pretty lame, but I have like people that I super love, and one is Fiona Apple. And there's actually a song on here that I really liked called Under the Table. And it's like, she's gone to a dinner party that she didn't want to go to, and someone says something shitty, and she starts calling them out on it, and her partner starts like kicking her under the table. And she's like, you could kick me all you want, but I won't shut up. And I'm like, this is the song I need right now.
No, absolutely. It's what we all need. Oh, that sounds amazing. I can't wait to listen to it.
Yeah.
It's on my list of things to do today.
I feel
like to check out the album.
Yeah, I think you could take that album, and then when that new Dixie Chicks album finally comes out, you could put them together and you would have yourself an amazing like double set. Because Gaslighter, I think would slide right in here. I mean, not stylistically because they're very different, but like theme wise, I feel like they go together.
I was surprised more people aren't releasing music because we have all this time now to like listen to music, right?
I know. And I'm not the kind of person that I know a lot of people listen to music while they work and think. I find music to be a little distracting when I work, so I can't do that. But I do listen like when I'm doing the dishes or I'm cooking or, for some reason I listen to a lot of podcasts. I don't know why. But I feel like right now is a great time to release some music. We could all talk about it. We could all listen to it together and have a conversation. And it's super great. I think you will love it. So definitely.
I can't wait to listen to it. Yeah, definitely. It's definitely on my list today to get to it.
Awesome. I'm so glad we talked about Valley Girl.
Me too. Thank you for dropping everything and doing it right away because I had to see it right away.
Yeah, no, everybody does. Everyone needs to see Valley Girl. It's the movie we need right now. Where can people find you on the internet, Margo?
You can find me on social media at Brooklyn Fit Chick. That's mainly for Twitter and Instagram. And my blog is brooklynfitchick.com.
And you can hear both of us at What a Creep, where we're talking about creeps and non-creeps at the end of every episode. And we have a Patreon page, so you go to Patreon, type in What a Creep, or you can just listen to it on wherever you find your podcasts. And you can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram. I try not to go to Facebook, and when I do go to Facebook, I argue with people. So I try not to go to Facebook. Oh, sorry, not sorry. And you could find Dorking Out at dorkingout.com and Dorking Out Show on Instagram and Twitter. And you're listening right now, so you know where to find it. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts and you want to give us a good review, we would not say no. We would love it. If you want to give us a bad review, you can just keep that shit to yourself. We don't need to know.
Oh, also, if you want some stickers, send us an email or DM us, and we'll send you some stickers in the mail.
Yes, absolutely. You can email us at dorkingoutshow@gmail.com, and we can send you some stickers. They're really cute.
Mm-hmm.
And this was super fun. Like, oh my God, Margo.
Totally.